Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Dad Religion Podcast. I'd like to welcome all of our. Are we down to? Did we lose anyway?
I
43,
didn't check. We were 44 left.
43, 44 to our 44 subscribers, and to the Dirty Dodger fans everywhere. They've done it again. They have bought Major League Baseball's championship. I'm just kidding, buddy.
My
I'm
trophy.
just kidding.
Give me my
Um,
trophy.
Today we're gonna have a good friend of mine on, Mr. Dan Wright. We call him Dan the Man, Dan the Dope Man,
Oh,
Mr. Wright. We are gonna talk about a few things, maybe that plague us men from time to time, the adversity, just getting out of our own heads. We're gonna talk about with him about his journey, and see what's up with him. He's a good guy. Like I
cool.
said, we've been friends for over 30 years. Probably, I've been friends with him. I've been friends with him longer than I haven't been friends with him. So there's that.
Wow. Yeah, crazy.
Yeah. So are you recouping from last night? You all right?
From the whole fucking series, man. This is like if I had a cardiologist, he would not approve. Dude, I mean the 18
Uh,
innings, and then those two devastating losses right after that, and then two games that I mean, you call it a game of inches, right? But this is a game where there were just multiple plays that were within inches and just great plays, man. Let me tip my cap to the Toronto Blue Jays, all of them except for Springer, who's a cheater and I don't really like. But the rest of them, dude, like what a great fucking team. And their city, I thought their city was extremely respectful. Things got a little heated between what was it, Jimenez and Roblowski, and the benches cleared after that hit. But that was really the only part of the whole series that I thought gamesmanship was like a little bit questionable. The rest of it was just the best of the best going at it, man. And fuck, you got to tip your cap to that team. They're fucking excellent. They are just a really good team. I think they outplayed us. I really do. I think they outplayed the Dodgers, and that's how baseball goes. You've got to be a really, really, really good team to overcome that kind of adversity. That's what. So,
yeah, I feel bad for him. I feel
who the
bad for him.
Dodgers?
I don't think. No,
Don't. No,
no,
we're
I
good.
definitely don't.
Well,
I definitely don't
I do
feel
too,
bad for the Dirty Dodgers.
dude. They, dude. Toronto left it all out there. I'm gonna be honest. Both Christine and I, neither of us thought that we were gonna win until we did. We on it the whole fucking time. I really thought that they were gonna walk it off. This game is what I figured was gonna happen. But it was amazing, dude. Great defense. Like it was just exciting baseball, Jason. It was watching one of the best postseason games I've ever seen. You know,
What inning did you pitch last night? I see you got your uniform on. I didn't know if you just didn't wash it from last night's game, or
oh
what
no, I
inning
have
did you
not watched
pitch?
it from last night's game. In fact, I don't think I've watched it since game two. Yeah.
Oh, you've been wearing that since game. That's gross.
No, I only this is my gray one. This is the away jersey. So I wear the away jersey when they're away, and I wear the home
I've been
jersey.
told I've been told that grown men don't wear jerseys.
Oh, have you been told that? Yeah, that's fine. I,
I
I, I
wear
wear I wear
jerseys.
comic book T-shirts all the time too. I mean, I'm not. I
I'm
guess
just
I'm not
kidding.
really playing the part of a
I
grown man very well.
whenever I wear jerseys from time to
Yeah.
time. I don't wear them out in public, but I'll wear them like
Oh,
to a game or something like that. So
yeah. Christine and I will wear them and walk up and down the farmers market and get dirty looks from most of the people, and then we'll run into like one or two Dodger fans, and we'll like high five. It's kind
yeah, my neighbor across the street's a Dodger fan.
of busy in
He is.
Texas.
Yeah,
Blessings.
they're
But
all transplants.
how was Halloween? You guys had some pretty cool videos. Like, was that your neighborhood that you went trick or treating in?
Nah, we went to another neighborhood. It was fun. It was fun. I mean, happening on a Friday night, it's
A little wild.
more people are out. It was pretty wild. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, it was fun. A
We
lot
did.
of walking, man. I must have walked 5-6 miles. It feels like.
Yeah, we just
Yeah.
went down to the boulevard here, and they had the farmers market going like normal, and then just a bunch of people dressed up, and mainly really really little kids, especially like what we had with our grandson in the stroller. But it was great. We went down there with with Bella and Trenton and Trenton's parents, and it was fun. It was a lot of fun. It was he didn't
Nice.
understand what was going on. I mean, he was tripping out on everything, but he obviously doesn't know what the fuck's going
All right. Well, we're gonna take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll get into this. What do you think?
on. All right, with Dan.
With
Ooh,
Dan the man, Dan the
Dan the
dope
man.
man.
Dan the dope man.
I don't
Wow.
know. I don't know if I'm supposed to call him that anymore.
Ooh, well, we can edit that out. We'll find out soon.
All
All right.
right, brother. All right, we got our guest in the studio. This is my buddy of, like I said, of over 30 years, brother, of over 30 years. I have known him longer than I have not known him. Um, this is Mr. Dan Wright. How you doing, brother?
Doing all right. How about yourself? How you guys doing?
Doing
We're
great.
doing
Welcome, Dan.
great. We're doing. So today, I wanted to talk about, just overcoming shit. Overcoming adversity, overcoming, just fucked up shit that happens in your life, and how you deal with it, and how you put a better spin on it, how you make it work for you. And I know you've been through some trials and tribulations over the years, and I just wanted to bring you on because number one, you're funny as fuck. You make me laugh really hard. And number two, you're a good storyteller. You're good at getting your point across. And why don't you tell us a little bit about your life, and how you started, where you started, and how you ended up where you're at now.
Oh my God. I don't know if 20 minutes is enough time to go through my whole fuck.
Hey, you know what? We'll play it by ear.
It's crazy. No, where I'm at today is crazy. I well, basically leaving Havasu
Yeah,
was based on poor decisions and settings, but um, I never really had much. Uh, Nor did I have the parental guidance that most kids have. And so I was left to figure things out at a younger age. And I think that's what basically was the beginning of learning how to adapt and overcome because I didn't have a choice. I made a lot of mistakes, but I think those mistakes that I made um, is what kind of forged me into what I am and what was enabling me to overcome a lot of this stuff because I had to start overcoming at a very young age. It was at a young age that I was just like, you got to figure it the fuck out, and you don't have a choice. Failure is really not an option. Came from a poor family, so I never really had a financial backing or support or anything. It was just like it's on you. So um, I was left to basically it was just a matter of survival. Been through a lot, Obviously, I made a lot of really bad decisions, and I think I'm one of the only people that can, you always hear that saying, "I don't regret anything," and I think I'm probably one of the only people that could say I regret a lot. There's a lot of
no,
things that I would definitely do differently.
me too.
No regrets, really. I have a lot of regrets, but
So do I.
it is what it is. You know what I mean? I got to live with those things. And that's another thing that makes us who we are the things that we've done, mistakes we've made, and the things that we regret. But it's crazy. Where I'm at today, crazy. I was married for 14, almost 15 years, and we decided it was just not working. And so I decided, and this was only a year and a half ago, said, fuck it, and walked away from everything. Everything. I literally, the only thing I took were the clothes on my back and the tools. And I had no idea what I was going to do. And I just, I had to figure it out. And things just kind of fell into place as they were. And just like everything else in my life, you just keep fighting and keep pushing and just trust that it's going to work out. You don't know how, but somehow it's going to work out. And I think having to overcome everything that I've had to overcome in my life, I've always been very resilient, and and just, you have to think your way through, and giving up and losing is just not an option. So, you do your best, and you just work, 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 pound, pound, pound. And I think the biggest thing is just staying in the fight and not giving up, no matter how bad you want to. Mentally going through those things is very tough, but sometimes you don't have time or an option to to have a mental breakdown or whatever. It is what it is. You got to deal with it. You got to figure it out. And you'll have times where you're just like, I give up, but then you just wake up and you don't, and you keep moving. And I don't know how, but I literally, less than a year ago, well, actually a year ago last week, my divorce was final. And a year later, I just signed my closing docs on a brand new home. Um, that I didn't even realize or intend on building or buying. And it just shows you that you just keep pounding and keep grinding and keep going, and it'll work out. And I mean, yeah, it's crazy how things spin. I mean, a year and a half ago, I literally didn't even own a butter knife. I left with nothing. And I joke around because I spent like $1,800 at Walmart the first day I got my little 2-bedroom apartment. I'm like, I feel like such a hillbilly. I just spent $1,800 at fucking Walmart. But here I am, and I made it. I worked my ass off. I continue to work my ass off, and I do the right thing. And I just trust that, what, it'll work out at the end. And somehow it just has. I can't even answer how. Just it does. It's crazy.
Now, a thing there, and I'm sure you won't mind me sharing this, but if you do, we can cut it out. But you literally had a home that you just gave to your ex-wife. You're like, I don't
Yeah.
want it. This is for you. You need to have you need to have that over your head. You're like, I'm going to
Yes.
take responsibility and I'm going to go figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah. We bought a couple homes and sold a couple homes together, and we ended up on a beautiful piece of land in Queen Creek, acre of land, gorgeous mountain view, and we bought it with the intentions of putting our parents on the property. Our parents are getting older, and a lot of things have happened throughout our marriage, and it was a rough. We just had a rough go. And it wasn't so much us individually. We just bad shit happened through our entire marriage, and I think it just took its toll after a while. But her parents lived in a town that's close to where we were. She just wanted to be close to her parents, and so we started kicking around the idea of, well, what if we just bought land and put a house on it for them, and kind of had the property together, which we ultimately did. And I remember when they found out we were going to get a divorce, and I think it was her dad. It was like, we're not going to have to move, are we? And I was just like, no, I can't. I would never do that. Um, this is yours. Just take it. I'll figure it out. I'll start over. And that's what I did. And dude, it wasn't easy. I mean, walking away from something that you've built for the last 15 years is no easy task, especially at our age.
Yeah.
You're literally like, dude, I'm starting with nothing, and I'm already, I'm 45, and that's crazy,
Yeah.
but it was the right thing to do. And I remember talking to my boss, actually, because he thought I was out of my mind. He's like, no, you guys need to put that property up for sale. I could have paid cash for the house that I just bought. I could have paid cash for it. And I looked at him, and it was without a thought. I was like, it's not about what you have in life, but how you live it and how you want to be remembered. And to me, you can't place a value on that. And so I left with integrity and gracefully. And to me, that's worth everything that I left behind.
Touche.
And I still don't know what the fuck I'm doing, but I'm trying, you know?
I'll tell you what, Dan.
I
You mentioned that you grew up poor, and I know a little bit about that too, and I can tell you it's those experiences of having nothing is kind of allows you to know that this is just stuff, and I can get it again because I've got it before from nothing. You know what I'm saying? And so I don't think that people who come from a place of more privilege or being taken care of can have that perspective. I don't think that it's available to them. So good.
It's you're 100% right, you know. It's a survival instinct, and you know, just like anything, human nature, animal, whatever, you have the instincts in you, but just like anything, they have to be taught. But if you're not tested in these times, then you can't really learn, you know, and appreciate or adapt and overcome. And so I think a lot of these things that I've gone through in life kind of brought me to this point. And who knows, you know, I truly do believe that we're right where we're supposed to be. And everything that we go through is to forge us and to form us into who we are today. And we just don't understand it. And so when all these things happen to me now, I try to have a different aspect on it, and I look at it from a different perspective. And I try to find the silver lining and what I can learn, and what what opportunity does this have in disguise, everything that happens to us, good or bad, there is a hidden opportunity somewhere. You just have to be able to look at it and see it in a different way. And the bad things that happen, you have to look at it like, we make mistakes, but I always tell people a mistake is always going to be made. There's nothing wrong with making mistakes. It's an opportunity for a lesson learned, and you just have to understand what that lesson is. And sometimes it's it's just as simple as that. And making the decisions, you know, it's crazy, but you have to go for it. You have to do it. And like the divorce thing, it sucked, but I think it was something that we just had to do. And you just you gotta move instead of just sitting there. And we're not getting any younger. The only thing that you can never buy or get back in this life is time. And time is the most valuable thing you can ever have or be given. So make use of every second that you have, and don't waste it, because at the end of the day, it's your time that's lost. And what are you going to do with it? What are you going to make of it? So it's,
Yeah, I think setbacks are they're just fuel for you to grow. There's setbacks, but you learn from that mistake, and then you don't make that mistake again. Although I've made the mistake a few times, even after I learned from the mistake. But yeah, they're just fuel for growth, in my opinion. And not to get I'm a big advocate of men's mental health. Like, I'm not like I just feel that guys are so afraid to tell people about their issues, to tell people about their problems. They hold it in. They hold it in until they just break. You know what I mean? And I think us as men don't think. What's the word I'm trying to? What am I trying to get at? We just don't. We don't. I think you talking about it is awesome, because we all need to talk about it. If you don't talk about what you're going through, you don't get any better from that. You just hold it in. And I think the if there's any dudes who listen to this podcast, what do we have? 44 followers.
Maybe 11 of them.
Some of them can learn from this. You know what I mean? So I think your story is awesome, and I think where you came from, because I remember back in the day, we've done some crazy dumb shit.
yeah,
We've done some. I don't know.
Over again. Nice.
yeah. Funny is the old saying, if you remember the '70s, you didn't live in the '70s.
Yeah.
And so I'm gonna say that saying kind of pertains to, I have
If you lived in
I
the
don't
90s, you don't
That's
remember
because
the
I was
90s.
living it.
The 90s were fun though, right? I mean, I
Right.
think they were fun. People keep telling me we had a really good time.
I know. You know what? My arrest record says I had a lot of fun. My
Yeah.
ex-wife worked for probation, and I told her, look, I'm very open about my past. I don't have anything to hide. It's all public record anyway. So if you ever have any questions, she's like, no, you're you are today, and that's what I love. I'm like, all right, cool. Well, she got bored one day and made the mistake of actually peeking into my record. And I remember getting a text like, we need to talk. And
Oh,
I'm like, uh-oh, what did I do? And she's like, who are you? And I'm like, what are you talking about? And she's like, well, and I didn't know. 27 arrests by the
oh,
age of 30. I was like, yeah, I was a little busy.
I wasn't very smart about it.
Just didn't care, apparently. Yeah, I didn't even try to care. I was like, ah, fuck it. I
hey
knew
Dan,
the
how
jailer.
did that move from Monrovia to Havasu affect you in your
It was crazy because, Monrovia was just like this gang infested, area. I was the minority. I grew up, in the times of, well, Rodney King riots and stuff like
Yup,
that. So
yup,
it was scary being a white guy in that neighborhood. And so you're used to, predominantly black and Hispanic area, and the things that come along with living in that kind of area. And then you move to Havasu, where it was like the only thing I could describe is it was like walking into Beverly Hills 90210. Like you're going from Cadillacs and El Caminos on Dayton's and hydraulics to
yup, yup,
Mustang convertibles and
right.
freaking Land Cruisers, and you're like, wow. I mean, if I wanted to ride in a Land Cruiser or a convertible Mustang, it would have had to have been stolen. And that's, it was quite a shock for me. And it was crazy. It was crazy. And it was definitely, I think it saved my life in a way because God knows where I'd be if I'd not left Monrovia. But that was a whole different type of environment, Havasu, and a whole nother story to tell. That was crazy. But it was a trip. It was such a shock because I'd never been around so many white people before.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And
Yeah, yeah.
we had some good times
I don't
though.
think Havasu had one. We had one black guy that I knew of in Havasu when I
That's it.
grow up. Yeah,
You live in a white town when you're like, yeah, I had one black guy. We had a black guy.
yeah. We had a token black guy there,
Crazy.
and he's still there. That guy. That guy's
That's
still there.
nuts. And in San Gabriel Valley, like even in West Covina, I go to Nogales High School, and there's 5,000 people at that school. 200 of us are white, right? And they literally had like last day of school, they had riots and like race fights between the Filipinos and blacks. It's just a crazy, crazy, crazy set of circumstances. And then I go down to visit my dad in Santee, California. It's a suburb of San Diego. Shoot, in the 70s and 80s, there were no. But there might have been somebody Mexican, but they would have been working at the taco shop, or at the carniceria. They wouldn't have been living in
Yeah.
Santee. It was like, and that's a huge, huge culture shock to go from being, one of few to being like one, like looking like everybody else. And then there's just something weird about the culture was like so different. For me, I had a hard time adjusting. I wasn't, always, I was brought up half Mexican, half white, right? So my parents separated when I was two, so I was part of both cultures in a weird way. But going from the one multicultural place to a place where there's literally nothing but people who look exactly like me, you would think that maybe you would feel more at home, but I never did. I never felt more at home. I always felt like this is weird. Like people can't see that I'm different. It was a
Yeah.
trip. Yeah.
It's crazy coming from two different, complete opposite cultures, environments, and you know, I, uh, I think my first couple of years in Havasu were a little. They weren't the easiest. I found a good group of friends, Jason being one of them. But there was the other side that wasn't so accepting, and it was funny because growing up in that neighborhood, I go to this school. I wasn't very easily intimidated. And
Yeah,
I don't think
right.
that the cool groups, you would say, were used to that or ready for that. And I got a few fights, and it really pissed a few people off because I fought some of the popular kids and beat the tar out of them. And it was, they were like, who is this fucking guy?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it was, yeah, it was a trip, man. But then, things kind of happened and people started realizing that, he's not such a bad guy. It just took a few years for them to warm up to me.
Sometimes those popular kids need to get like knocked in the nose
And
for them. They became better people for it. Believe me.
yeah,
Yeah.
I remember one of them came up to me after the fight. This was like a couple of weeks later. He's like, I've never been fucking hit that hard in my life.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
I'm telling you, man, you could take your show on the road. This guy is one of the funniest guys. He's had me. I've almost pissed myself talking to this guy on the phone because he just says the most off the wall shit. He's being serious here right now, but he's a funny motherfucker. This one right here.
I try to find the humor in things, I mean, I like to, what do you do? You know what I mean? There's so many people just, they give it to you. You're just like, is anyone seeing this? Were you always
You
this
told me
fucking
this.
stupid?
What's the one thing you told me this story? You're like you had this. I think it was this gentleman who worked for you, like this, like heroin addict or something like that. And he's like, I ain't taking that jab. You don't know what's in it. And you're like, you're literally
Yeah,
a heroin
no, this was about the
addict.
COVID.
And
I
I was
laughed at
like,
these guys, and this is to everybody out there. They're like, I'm not sticking this in my body. And I'm looking at them like, your fucking teeth are falling out of your head. You've smoked more meth than anybody I've ever seen in my life. And now your fucking body's a temple? Really? It blows me away. I'm not doing that. That's where you draw the line, huh? I get the whole thing, but really, now that I still don't get that. You know what I mean? Like, yeah,
oh
those
my
people,
god.
they make me laugh, and it's just, I see really, really.
That's
Yeah, that's funny shit. Dude. Yeah, people are crazy in this world right now, man. It's a strange, strange world we're living in.
Oh,
Um,
they've lost their fucking minds.
yeah.
I think part of the problem is we have so much access to information. Too many stupid people have access to information and they're not smart enough to digest it or process it. And, you
and they're
know,
so arrogant that they think that what they are working with is perfectly enough to understand deep concepts that they're not.
no.
It's
It,
a intellectual relativism. They just think that because they could read a paper about something that they therefore are on a par with the people who write those papers and stuff like
you,
that.
and it's crazy because a lot of these guys and people, I'm just going to say guys, but these people in general, I'm like, bro, you're a high school dropout, and it took you 4 times to pass the driving test, and yet now you're a political major. I don't fucking care what your opinion is. You haven't made one rational decision your entire life. Why the fuck would I start listening to you now? I
Yeah,
mean,
it's true. It's true.
it's it's
And
baffling.
we all know so many people like that. It's no
No,
joke.
and I for humor, you can always drop a line on there just because whatever you say is just gonna throw them through the roof, and you just
You
laugh,
guys
put
are
the
both
phone down, like I
paused.
just
You're
fucking
gone.
ruined that guy's entire day.
I missed
But
that
no,
entire
it's
thing.
crazy right now. People are nuts. People have lost their minds.
You guys were
What
just
do you
Do
mean?
what?
froze. You guys were just froze, both of you. Like,
Oh,
Oh,
I'm like,
Oh, we were hilarious. It's too bad.
yeah,
That's
he
a
was.
bummer.
Yeah, that was a good
Yeah,
cut.
yeah. I guess. Hopefully, I wasn't froze on that end. But
No,
Having fun
no,
with
he
it.
didn't look like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so back to like the stigma of of like the adversity of the mindset of resilience is what I have written down here. I wrote my notes down. Um, the power of self talk and like I talk to myself a lot when I'm going through these adverse things. Like I tell myself different things. I don't know if you guys do. Maybe I'm just a weirdo. I talk myself up. I talk myself through things. I tell myself, all right, you're not going to do this. You're going to do that. You're not going to do this because this did not work last time. You're going to do that. When it comes to like when I'm going through something, is that something you guys do, or am I just crazy? Do you guys just act?
I don't know. I think I do meditate a lot, but when I meditate, I'm not thinking about anything in particular. Just kind of try to slow my brain down so it can make better decisions.
My brain won't stop. There's no meditation for
Right.
me.
Some people
I'm
can.
like a
Yeah.
squirrel.
Yeah.
I have no meditation. That's not happening. Um, my mind is always loose and going. So yeah, I guess
You
that's something.
know, for what I do for a living, I plan and coordinate. So planning and coordinating details and details and details for me and problem solving, that's part of what I do. And so just like you, my mind does not shut off. I'm always thinking. And there's nothing wrong with planning. Of course, we have to plan for things. You got to plan for everything, otherwise you just, I mean, you can wing it, but it just depends on what you're winging it on. Planning to buy a house was not on my list, but I thought it through. I weighed out my options. The opportunity presented itself, and I just took it. I jumped on it, and I put thought into it, but I had to get out of that comfort zone. I finally and it was just like I haven't rented in years. I think the last time I think I was like a teenager or in my early 20s when I lived in an apartment. So going from what I had to a two-bedroom apartment was really it was a tough pill to swallow. But I left this whole life behind, and it was very. I had to process my situation, and I finally got to a point where I'm still processing everything, but I got comfortable. I was like, okay, I finally kind of made this next step. I've got my little routine down, and all of a sudden this happened, and I'm like, do I walk away from this routine that I've kind of gotten accustomed to and jump into this, or do I stay put because this is comfortable? And you can't let comfort dictate your decision making, especially if you want
Yes,
to progress.
100%.
And it's not that anything that I did was heroic or courageous, but courage and heroism is based out of fear. And if you're not scared, it's not heroic. If you're not scared, it's not courageous.
Yep.
And I always say this at work: fortune favors the bold. So you have to be able to go for it. Sometimes you lose big, but sometimes you win big. But you're never going to do either if you don't just fucking do it. And that's the biggest thing. And obviously you want to put thought and plan into things that you're going to do. You'd be foolish not to. But at the same time, don't overthink it because it's pretty simple when it really boils down to it. But you can't be afraid. You have to just go for it and hope the results are gonna pan out the way you want. I still kind of like think, what the hell did I do? I should have waited to buy this house, but I did it, and here I am. And you know what I mean? So it's still kind of settling in, but I'm already gaining again. I mean,
Yeah.
my equity was plus 20 before I even touched the doorknob. So You know what I mean? To the point, fortune favors the bold, and so that goes for everything. You can't be afraid, and don't settle just because you're comfortable. You know, because you'll never know what next level you can. You know what I mean? Level up and hit that next level. And so
Yeah.
you'll never do that if you're afraid.
Yeah, I'll say I did that too. I left a job of 16 years where I was the highest at that company at that level. Sold my house, moved to Austin, Texas, and I knew not a damn soul here. Nobody. Nobody. I didn't have to leave that job. I wasn't fired. I left on my own. And that for the first year I just wanted to get the fuck out of here and get back. It was so weird and so strange. And I didn't work for 6 months because I was tired. I wanted some time off, but it didn't last that long. I lasted about a month. Um, well, I found a job. I opened up my own business. I I I built my business from scratch. Never done it before in my life. Um, Literally built it from scratch. And now I'm not running that business as much anymore because my full time job is keeping me pretty busy. But I still have it, and I'm doing better now than I ever have. Even though I still want to get the fuck out of here. I want to get back to the West Coast or somewhere on that side. But actually, I'm doing pretty damn well here. And like you said, I never would have if I didn't. I was scared shitless to do that. I was so scared. I didn't. I'm like, what am I doing? And I said it the whole way driving over here. What am I doing? Why did I do this? What am I doing? But it ended up working out, and I'm in a higher position than I was before. I'm running multiple kitchens in different states now. I'm not saying that's all. That's like it kind of sucks because I have to do a lot of travel, but I'm higher than I was before. It's because if I would have stayed where I was at, I don't think anything would have changed. But I made that leap. Took my entire fam with me. My family is also courageous because they decided to do it too. And yeah, so like you going back to what you said, if you don't leap, you're not gonna get what you want. You're just gonna say stay. And my next goal is to get back to that side of the country, Arizona, California, and do the same thing all over again, but just get higher and better. So
You
we'll
guys
see.
obviously are into sports. Coach
What gave it,
Monty,
what gave it
Monty,
away?
Monty Williams.
Oh, Monty Williams, yeah.
You know, one of his quotes, and I steal this quote, and I actually have it above my computer at my office, but it says, "Everything you want is on the other side of hard."
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
true. It's
Yeah.
true.
So, you know, you just got to keep reminding yourself this isn't going to be easy, but that's okay. It's not
Yep.
supposed to be,
Yeah.
you know? So, yeah.
On that note, I just want to say we'll close this out. We don't like to keep the podcast too long because people just stop listening after a while. They're like, oh, it's too long.
Yeah,
This
we have
isn't
no attention
fucking
span.
Joe Rogan. I'm not
Yeah.
fucking. We're not Joe Rogan over here. We can't go 4 hours. But first of all, I want to thank you for coming on. You know I love you. You're my brother. I appreciate you, and I think you're kicking ass. So you inspire me. I just want to let you know that. No
Appreciate
joke.
it.
I'm not just saying that just to say it. I wanted to push to have you on here because you're just an all around great dude. And the fact that there's some people that I've lost track of. You know what I mean over the years. Me and you, even if we don't talk for a year, when we speak, it goes right back to where we were. You know what I mean? When we
Pick
see
up
each
where we
other,
left off. Yeah.
pick up where we left off. We don't have to talk every day. I don't have to, Uh, you're my brother, and I appreciate you. So thank you for coming on. And
Yep.
for everyone who is listening or may listen, don't be afraid to do what you need to do when you're in a tough spot. Don't be afraid to either ask for help, bite the bullet, go talk to someone. Especially with us dudes, we're scared to do that. We don't want to ask for help. I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna ask for help if I'm in a tough spot and I need to talk to someone. Um, Either your pastor, either your therapist, your friends. You know what? There's a saying that I love. It says, "Hug your friends, even if it makes them uncomfortable." Um,
Yeah.
you never know when you're going to see someone else again. You never know what that stress is doing to your body. I know there was a time when I mean, look at this gray. I got two daughters. You know, I have a lot of stress, and I decided a couple years back that I don't give a. I'm going to talk to someone. You know, I'm not going to hold it in anymore. And I suggest if you're holding it in, you talk to someone. And on that note, Jimbo, you got anything?
Just a big thanks, Dan. Appreciate you coming on, man. It's good to
No,
talk.
man. Thanks for
Thank you,
having me.
Valley guy.
Yeah. We'll have to do this again sometime in the future.
Absolutely, man. You're welcome
100%.
anytime, bro. Yep.
All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, all
Fellas,
right.
you have a good one. Appreciate you.
Peace.
See you, Dan. Take care.